What is up, guys, and welcome back to Rams TV with yet another Smash 6 video. And for today's video we have the Super Smash Bros. For Switch 2, what we know so far. So as a lot of you can imagine, when the Switch 2 got announced back in April, a lot of people were speculating what the next Smash game will be, myself included. Now Smash 6 most likely won't be the actual title, but it would be the 6th installment of Smash, so it's just what we're calling it for now. So what we know about Smash 6 so far, it's actually kind of intriguing what we know, which at the same time is basically nothing because they haven't officially announced anything. But you'll see what I'm talking about as we get into the video. So let's just start off with the two options that can happen. So it's either one or the other. So the first option is this right here, which is something that a lot of people think will happen. And this is that we get a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Deluxe Edition. Very similar to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We got the booster DLC expansion with more characters, new stages. And a lot of people think we're going to get something similar for Smash Ultimate, which, to be honest, I would not complain about. I think that would be a great option. But let's just go ahead and read it. So here it says, one of the most persistent rumors is that Nintendo might repackage Ultimate for Switch 2 as a deluxe edition, similar to what it did with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This version would include graphical upgrades, all DLC, and potentially a handful of new fighters or modes. Now, there could be some issues with this, as well as some reasons why it makes sense, so go ahead and check this out. So here under why it makes sense, first off, we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is one of the best selling Switch games, and they got this exact treatment. They got the extra DLC after how many years of being released, like 10 plus years that Mario Kart 8 has been out, and we finally got an expansion for that. So now that Smash Ultimate is like on its 7th year, it wouldn't seem too unlikely either. A deluxe version allows Nintendo to capitalize on Ultimate's success without rebuilding from scratch. So this would be probably one of the biggest reasons as to why this definitely makes sense. Because like they said, they don't have to rebuild it from scratch. They could just add on to what's already existing. And you'd be surprised, even 7 years later after the game's release, Smash is one of the biggest and most played games in the entire Switch platform. So it would make sense for them to do this. And then lastly, it could serve as a stopgap while a brand new entry is developed. So this also, as you can see, is a reason why this would make sense. So if they just add a little bit of DLC, maybe a few characters, a few new stages, a few new modes, who knows, they could take a few years, like maybe 2 or 3 years after that, to fully finalize whatever the next Smash game will be. And I feel like most people won't have an issue because we at least got some new stuff for the current Smash. But who knows? Now, in terms of why it's complicated, the first one is probably the most likely reason why, and it's because relicensing characters like Joker, Sora, and Cloud may be expensive or impossible. So keep in mind, even if they do an upgrade, it would still kind of be considered a new game because it's no longer just Smash Ultimate, it's Smash Ultimate Deluxe or whatever the hell it will be called. If it is called Smash Ultimate Deluxe, that would be its own game. So Smash Ultimate is the base, and then Smash Ultimate Deluxe is the version that includes everything. So they would have to relicense all the characters they used, and Sora being from Disney would be damn near impossible to get relicensed again. Disney doesn't really do that, to say the least. It's actually a huge shock that Sora was even allowed in Smash Ultimate. Besides that, Sakurai previously described Ultimate as a one-time culmination, meaning that it's not something he's trying to redo. And with good reason, 80 plus characters in any game is absolutely insane. And the amount of collabs that we got, Final Fantasy, Minecraft, probably one of the crazier ones, and Persona 5 with Joker. So all these collabs, Street Fighter and whatnot, is pretty insane. That, like, honestly, it did feel like Smash Ultimate would be the end all be all to Smash. But as you know, we basically haven't confirmed that they're not done. Sakurai himself said Smash is not done as a series, and to be honest, it probably never will be done, because, why? It's such a good performing game that there's just no reason why they should finish. Now, this concludes the first option, which is that we get Smash Ultimate with new DLC. Now, in terms of the second option, which is the one that a lot of people are hoping for, including myself to be honest, is this one right here, which is a new game, smaller roster, and a more focused direction. Now, a lot of people might be thrown off with smaller roster, but keep in mind, Smash Ultimate has 80 something characters. I don't think we need that. There's nobody who uses all 80 plus characters. People probably use a handful, maybe like 5 to 10 characters. Having 80 plus is not really a necessity. No game, I think, needs 80 plus. Heck, if you told me a game has 50 characters, I would still be in shock. I'll be like, wait, they have 50 characters to choose from? Like, what the hell? You know, when you take a look at games like Mortal Kombat or Injustice, they have what, like 20, maybe 24 characters total. And those games did absolutely fine. So having a monstrosity of 80 plus characters is not needed. Now let's get into it. It says, the other possibility is a completely new game developed from the ground up with a smaller roster and new mechanics designed to showcase the Switch 2's capabilities. This could be a return to form, focusing more tightly on Nintendo's core IPs with a sprinkle of third-party fighters. So we will still have some third-party fighters, which, you know, is pretty safe to assume that we will. But it looks like they would focus more tightly, as they say, on Nintendo's core IPs, which I would love, because Nintendo's IPs are obviously some of the best. You know, Metroid Prime, maybe add some more characters from there, maybe add another Kirby character, maybe some more Mario characters like Waluigi. Rip my boy Waluigi. So yeah, they could definitely do a bunch of awesome and great changes and add new things, even with a smaller roster, and it would probably be just as big as Smash Ultimate in terms of success. Now, in terms of why this one is likely, the reason why is because it avoids the licensing headaches of re-releasing Ultimate. So like they said, they would focus more on Nintendo IPs instead of having to branch out to third-party characters and having to, like, you know, get their permission to use it. So yeah, definitely more tightly focused on Nintendo's IPs would give them a bunch of freedom to just do whatever they want with their already existing characters, making it way easier for Nintendo to actually make this game. It also allows for gameplay evolution tailored to new hardware. So this is going back to the Switch 2's new capabilities, which, to be honest, besides the mouse thing that you could use the Switch 2 as a mouse, I'm not 100% sure what other capabilities they have, like in terms of like actual changes, not just like better hardware. I'm talking about like the new, I guess, just options. Like, what else besides the mouse do they have? I don't know. I gotta look more into it. And Nintendo tends to innovate between console generations rather than port aging titles indefinitely. So yeah, they definitely do like having the new titles. I mean, with the Switch 2's announcement, we already got Donkey Kong Bonanza. We got the Mario Kart 9. I mean, thank God. Imagine if we got another Mario Kart 8 like version. I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably crash out at that point. We got Kirby Air Ride. So that one actually is kind of a port, and I'm so happy it is, because Kirby Air Ride for the GameCube was so good that it's about time we got it in the new console. So let's see what goes on with that. But yeah, they definitely like having new titles. So yeah, it would definitely make sense to get another Smash game, just smaller roster, as they said. Now, in terms of the release window, 2026 is the safest bet, and the reason why is not only because Smash Ultimate was also released 1 year after the Switch was released. So Switch was released in 2017, and Smash Ultimate came out 1 year later in 2018. So they would most likely follow a similar pattern. So Switch 2 releases 2025, and the next Smash game 2026. But you know, it also gives them more time for all the current titles that were already announced to fully be played by everyone and, like, you know, fully just completed. That way, when Smash 6 gets announced, it's like a fresh new title that everyone's just ready for. It says some insiders suggest that if a new Smash game is in development, it's likely aiming for 2026, giving Nintendo time to fully showcase Ultimate on the Switch 2 at launch and then follow up with a new entry later in the console's life cycle. Basically exactly what I said. So let me know, guys, what do you think about this? Do you guys want a new Smash game? Do you want Smash Ultimate with DLC? What are your thoughts and opinions? I am not gonna lie, I'm fine with either one, but in the future, I would definitely want a new Smash game no matter what. So even if we get Smash Ultimate with new DLC, like in another couple years, I definitely want to get a brand new Smash game as well. And like I said, I'm fine with a smaller roster. No game needs 80 plus characters. That's absolutely insane. If they were to shorten that even by half, like 40 something, I think they'd be just fine. Once again, nobody uses all characters in the game. That's insane. Imagine being a main with 80 something characters. That's absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, guys, like I said, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Other than that, make sure to stay subscribed for more videos like this one. Thank you for watching, and peace.